mean, if you're gonna get picks for Stahl and then hope he comes back at a reasonable number maybe in the summer. Yeah, I guess my point would be you can't get picks for all these guys. You got to get players. You got to get a player for or players for some of them because you have to have a roster, right? And we know we're not going to go out and get a whole bunch of guys in free agency. So I think I would like to see him. But I guess where I went on Twitter the other day was. You want him to be a first-line guy, but he really produces like a second-line guy. But you want to trade him as though he's a first-line guy to get first-line assets back.
Yeah.
But who the hell's going to do that? I mean, these teams all have scouts. I mean, I don't know who's going to give you first-line assets for Granlund.
I don't either, and I mean, that's the tough part with your Paul Fenton. Like, and plus the guy might get gun shy after trading Nino for Victor Rask, and I mean,
jeez Louise, how pissed is Bruce got to be? I mean,
you can tell in his press conference, he's not exactly thrilled with the move.
He finally had these goofballs moving in the right direction, and then the stupid 12-day break or whatever it was.
And Fenton goes bananas,
blows up his roster.
Yeah,
and then apparently didn't realize that the Boteto thing meant that Cunningham and Eck had to sit down. I just Bruce.
Hold on, he didn't realize that.
Well, how did he not? I mean, how did he let it happen otherwise?
Well, yeah, I guess maybe they say he's an AHL guy. Maybe he wanted to leave him down there.
Well, man, I feel bad for Bruce.
Yeah.
It's hard enough, hurting these cats anyway. And then, 2 seasons ago, he says, sometimes these moves just screw around with chemistry. And then Chuck did that to him.
Yeah.
The Hansel trade and blew that up, and that team was playing well. And then his rookie newbie GM does the same thing 2 years later. It's just got to be so frustrating for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a relatively sobering jaunt through the 4 major teams.
Well, here's the last question for you. If you're Bruce at the end of the year, do you wait around to get fired or do you just retire?
Yeah. I don't know. And he's got this minor league team. Is he going to stick around?
Well, it seems like he's pretty happy with living life in Minnesota with the minor league team that his kid plays on and kind of runs, or the junior team, whatever it is. But I don't know. Like, I almost kind of get the feeling like he's just getting to the point where he's sick and you can hear it in the press conferences.
Yeah.
Like he used to be a guy that would joke and, even when they had bad games, like he'd pop off about something. Not anymore. Like, he's just like going through the motions, crabby. You just wonder if he's going to screw it.
If he's going to lay his shoes at the edge of the mat, then he's got to go out on his terms, right?
Yeah.
But you go out. I mean, that's where you can say I'm retiring as opposed to I'm quitting.
Right.
So I don't know. He was fired from Washington, right? And he was fired from Anaheim. So
yeah.
If this is the final stop on the train for him, does he want to go out on his terms?
Yeah. You'd think, but you also wonder, does he want to go out
the
playoff team and taking another run at the cup and that kind of thing? So he might just take getting fired and try and catch on somewhere else because the guy's an amazing regular season head coach.
Yeah, and I still do not believe he's the problem here.
Right. I don't either. Yeah.
And look at Hitch. You can retire in the NHL and come back and coach the greatest player in the league, even though that's about all that whole team has.
Correct.
Unbelievable. All right. Well, look, Tony. I would wager a guess as to where you'll go with your Minnesota goodbye as one extra thing. Although it would be a positive thing, not a goodbye thing. But otherwise, do you have? Give me your Minnesota goodbye here, bud.
I mean, I'll just say it's going to be goodbye to one of the major sports coaches, whether it's Boudreau. In the next 12 months, we're going to have some turnover, and I'm hoping that it's not Ryan Saunders. I think he deserves a chance. But I think it's going to be Boudreaux. And I hope that he does catch on somewhere else and gets a chance at another cup. But I don't think he's going to be the coach of the Minnesota Wild for much longer.
Yeah. My Minnesota goodbye this episode is I am just totally apathetic about this Wild team at this point. I mean, they won yesterday, and I was like, oh, that's great. And then they lost today. I was like, oh, bummer. I mean, I'm so beaten down by them, and that's a weird place to be. And I hope that says more about them than it says about me. But I honestly don't know, and frankly, I don't know if I care.
Well, I think to your point, I think the fan base is beaten down, but I also don't think they feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
That's the problem, right?
Right. That's the whole deal. There's no light. There's like no even optimism that Fenton can do much with the roster.
Yeah, unbelievable.
It's just we're not a very good team, and we don't have a chance ever.
But they're still selling out the X. It's crazy.
For now, yeah.
Force their hand a little bit. You know, I mean, if you've already bought the tickets at sunk cost, then I understand using it. But, oh boy, I mean, you keep on selling out the building, and you're not giving them much reason to pull the plug.
Look at Gopher Hockey, though. Gopher Hockey lost a ton when they started losing.
Yep. That's
WCJ
true.
Went away. They started losing.
Yep.
I mean, they burned through a bunch of season ticket holders, and they burned through a $2,500 or 2,500 list of people.
Yeah.
And they're still down 3,000 season ticket holders. So,
yeah.
Hopefully, I mean, not that I want them to lose money or anything, but I do want, we all want to see change.
Yep. Exactly. And if that's the way to force it then to happen, then I'm all for it at this point because you're right. I mean, we got nothing if we don't have hope. So, all right. Well, listen, 100 episodes of the Fan Show. It's been a lot of fun, and here's to hopefully 100 more. But thanks for letting us kvetch about these teams for all these years, and hopefully it's provided a little outlet for everybody listening as well. But we'll be back for our 101st episode, hopefully sooner than it took us to, or less time than it took us to go from 99 to 100. But for Tony and Brandon, this is Nick. Thanks for listening to this episode and all the episodes of the Fan Show, which of course you can find at talknorth.com. Thanks everybody. We'll be back again soon.